This conference will now be recorded.
Hi all. So welcome to day 12 of this JMeter session. And so as a recap, uh, we started knowing about the dynamic values, right? And we have seen right how and why dynamic values will occur, plus few concept like how to handle dynamic values, right? How to do the correlation parameter. These all things it's not covered in day 11. Yesterday we didn't cover. So we'll first do this. We'll cover these things. Then we'll move into day 12. Okay, topics. Will the continuation of correlation parameterization only and understanding redirection concept, right? So these topics plus these topics in day 12, right? So yesterday means we were talking about dynamic values. We had a detailed session on the dynamic values, why to bother about them and all the things. Now we'll understand like where dynamic values occur in the script. Okay, so let me first open the scripts. So this is our product booking. Plus just a second. Okay, so in the script, right, dynamic values can occur at three places. Fine, means they can pass at three places. So what are those three places? Dynamic value, there is three possibilities in request of the script where dynamic value will be passing and needs to be correlated and parameterized. So what are those three places? They may pass in request body, they may pass in request header, or they may pass in request URL, sorry, request body, request URL, and request header, right? So request goes, right, request goes, and with the request dynamic values goes, right? Now what is the content of request? Request consists of request body and it consists of request header, right? Request header. What is there in request body? The parameter, the user input, plus the request URL also is part of request body, right? And we have request header. So dynamic value can pass in request body, in request URL, and request header. So I'll show you the examples for all these three cases. So in our JPET store, let us take the example of JPET store, right? So here, if you see, dynamic values are there in three places in this whole script. One is there in sign in, this click sign. So it's passing over here. So it's the example of URL, correct? URL. Then in login, here it's you see the dynamic value. So this is the example of dynamic value passing in parameter, you can say, or body, you can say. Actually, the URL also is part of body only, but generally this part we can say as a main body, right? Main body, the parameter. Or here also this value are passing. So this is the example of body, correct? In this script, the value is not there in headers, right? Now another example. So this is the script for the scenario for which I played the video yesterday, right? For that application. So if you see, in launch in the body the two dynamic values passing, right? Then login, in the first request of login over here, this is in URL, correct? In URL dynamic values passing, correct? Then here also in URL, this is the example of URL. Then here uh, uh, you can see CSR token, right? And some other IDs are there, like here some IDs or here some IDs. So it's an example of sorry, this is URL and these are the example of body, right? Body. In this application also, dynamic values were not there in headers. Okay, it all depends on scenario to application and request to request. Maybe you will never see, there is an application, you will never see the dynamic values in URL. You will only see in headers. Sometime you will, sorry, you will only see in body. Sometime you will see in headers also. Correct. So it all depends on application to application. Headers, where are headers? Inside each request, header manager is there. In them, header will is there, right? Headers. So in that also, chances is there that dynamic value will be there. So for this our application, for JPET store, dynamic value are not there in header. Same way, uh, in this application, right, for which we have seen a video yesterday, dynamic values are not there in the headers. Correct. They are there in the URL. They are there in the body. Fine. Then uh, I'll show you another here. One example I'll just show you. I do not have application for this, but just for an example. So sign in has 5 requests, right? So here the sign in is happening. Here you can see the dynamic values are there, in body are there, and here also in bodies. Right? Sometimes dynamic value can be very complex, you see, and this request at 4 places, 4 different dynamic value. Okay, you can see here. Fine. And then uh, in the next request, if I expand, you will observe that here you see request ID, right? You see. So in headers, in header, so in header of all these requests, this particular value is there, which is alphanumeric in nature, right? Capital letter, small letter things are there, right? So you'll get to know that those are dynamic with the same value over here. Fine. And here, so in header. So for this application, it was there in header. So sometime for few application, it can be there in the headers also. It can pass in the headers as well. So how we'll get to know? There is no such rule. By one looking only you have to understand. Like let us say here, uh, when you click this request, any request, you will get to know, you will see, right, that value is there in URL, or this value is there in body. You will get to know, but headers you will not be knowing, because headers are hidden. If you see normally, header is hidden inside a request, right? I have to see this is the request, suppose inside that I have to expand this, and the headers I'll get, right? You see, then only. So normally you'll not be able to know that headers are there in sorry, dynamic values are there in there or not in the headers. Correct. Only way is to, you have to check manually by expanding and by looking by looking that any such dynamic value in the header. That is the only way you can find. Okay, you can find. Fine. In any script, because headers will be hidden, right? Headers will be hidden. You have to expand and check. You have to expand and check for every request. You have to expand and check. Okay. Initially you'll face little issue, but uh, uh, if you practice more going forward, uh, uh, like you'll understand the things in details. Okay. So these are the 3 places where dynamic values can pass in the request. Okay, in body, in URL, in headers. Body, and if it is passing body and URL, it will be very easy to recognize them, because we can see them directly, right? It will be observed. We can directly see them. But if it is passing in header, you will not be knowing directly. So you have to check. You have to expand those requests. Every request you have to expand and check whether any dynamic values in the header or not. Okay, like that. That is the only way. Sometime dynamic values can be repetitive. Okay, meaning of this is, suppose here you see this dynamic value which is in URL, it is used in other requests as well. It is present over here as well. It is present over here as well. It is present over here as well, right? Here as well, here as well, right? You see, it can be repetitive. Dynamic values can be repeated. Or this token, you see, it is present in this request. It is present in this request as well, and it is present in this request as well, right? Same. So sometime same dynamic value can be present at one place, or it can be present at multiple places. Okay, multiple places. So one example like I've shown for this or for this, right? In multiple places also same dynamic value will be there, or sometime the value will be at one place. Like if you see these two value, they are just at this in this request only, they are not at multiple places. Or if you see this value, it is just in this request, it's not at multiple places. Okay, but this value is present in all the request in this or this here also or here also, it's repetitive multiple place. Then same with this value, you see name is csrf token, this is also present at all these places in all these three requests. Okay, so it can happen, it can happen. Now, so example we have seen, right? Now adding to that, okay, there are two possible cases for availability of dynamic values in the response where they can be found and needs to be extracted, right? So what are those possibilities? You can find them in response body or you can find them in response header. So yesterday what I told, that in the previous response the server sends that dynamic value, right, to the browser, and then in the next request the browser sends that dynamic value back to the server, right, back to the server. So when that dynamic value is going back to the server, so it can be present in these three places. Okay, it can be in body, can be in url, can be in header. There is no hard and fast rule. Okay, and there can be multiple dynamic value in a script, right, remember. So you can see, just I have shown you here, there are many dynamic values, there can be multiple dynamic values, right, multiple dynamic values, correct. So okay, so when that request dynamic value is going back to the server, it can be present in three places, any of the three places, you will check that. And that value is sent back to by server, right, in previous response. So in the previous response, when it is sent back by the server to the browser, it can be present at two places, where in response body or in response header, because response consists of what, response body and response header, right? So in any of these you have to check that uh, where it is. Fine. Now next, so in response these two places the value will be there in previous response. Now how to identify these dynamic value in the script? So now since I have shown you so many examples, so by looking only you will understand, you will see some alphanumeric values present in body or in url or in header, you will understand that those are dynamic value, right, because I have shown you so many examples. But let us say even if you want to uh, understand more on dynamic values, so there is one best practice to identify the dynamic values in the script. Okay, what is the best practice? Take two different username and password and record the same end-to-end scenario or flow two times by changing the user inputs as well, and then compare both the scripts for changing data or value. This will help you in finding conventional and non-conventional dynamic values efficiently. So what is the meaning of that? That suppose we have, let us say for product booking, right? So take we have recorded this flow for J2EE, right? The username was J2EE. Take another username and password and record same flow one more time, right? Understand? Record same flow one more time. Okay, one more time, right? And record same flow, same end-to-end flow one more time, correct? That is what, two times. Two times means already one time we have done, right? One more time you record by changing the user inputs as well. User inputs means suppose in paid, when we recorded we selected fish. When second time you are recording, you select dog, correct, and like that, and do the recording, do the end-to-end recording, and then you compare, correct, you compare both the scripts. Fine. So as an example, suppose I have a product booking script. I have not recorded, means it's already recorded. If you wish, you can record, right, two times. But I it's already with me, so I'll show you. But that is the best practice. Okay. So let us say In login or in sign in, we have every request by re request you can compare side by side by keeping the script side by side. So if we see, this is the second recording. At same flow, so line, login and other thing, same flow of product booking. So in login, this is the value. So if you check this, see, this is the login request, right? Number can be different, not an issue, but that is the login request, the first request. Okay, you can verify these URLs. So you see the username and password. I kept same, but generally it suggested that as a best practice, you should have two different username and password. Okay, not an issue, not an issue. So you see, these all things are not changing, right? They are not changing. These are all same. Means they will not be considered dynamic value. Or this thing. You see this button, this input. It's not changing, right? This is constant. But if you see this value, it is changing. It has changed, right? So that is the best way. Same way in enter details, we have dynamic values. So I have enter details here and enter details here as well. So you can see these all stuff here. It's not changing, right? These all names, it's not changing. But and these are the user input that I have given while doing the recording. So we'll talk about this later on. But if you see this value, it's changing. It changed. It's different. Same flow, same request. It is different. Okay, like that we have to. So we have to record same flow by taking two different username and password. You have to record the scenario 2 times, and if needed, change the user inputs as well. User inputs means user selection, right? Let us say you are doing this product booking scenario only. So in one you select fish, in another you select dog, right? Like that, and then record, and then compare both the scripts for each transaction, and you will be able to find the conventional and unconventional dynamic. Same way for that application whose video I played yesterday, right? So for example purpose, I have kept two recordings. So I'll open both the recording. So you can see here same four transactions, right? So now let us say launch. You launch the first request of launch, right? So first request, you verify, right? Anything changing here? No, nothing changing, right? Then come to the second request. Yeah, second request. So you see, these all things are not changing. They are same. Here also these are same. This line, this line, this line, right? It's same here. This line, this line. Then this below line, all same here, right? These are not dynamic value. What are dynamic value? This value. It is changing, right? You see. Let us say the second one, the non-CID. It's changing, right? Dynamic value. And this one is also changing. You will think it's not changing. Like if you see the initial letters, it's same, right? No, it's not the same actually. You have to compare very minutely because this value is not that much small, right? If I open this value is very big. Okay, this value is very big. So just by looking into first few letter, you cannot compare that it's same or it's not changing. You have to copy full, right? Just select and copy, and you can put that in Notepad. So this I have kept taken from the one from this script. Now same from this one, I'll select it and I'll copy and I'll put it here. So you can see initial this is same, right? You can see it's same, all these words are same, but it doesn't mean that it's same. If you come here up to here, it's same, right? You see everything is same, but from here it's changing, right? You see it's very big value, it's up to here, right? So sometimes if the value is big, just by looking few initial words, do not assume that uh, do not assume that right, that value is not changing. Compare from start to end, right? Okay, same way, let us say login. So login has around 5 requests. So if you compare login, so let us say the first request. So here if you see these all thing no change. If you see everything, there no change. But if you see in this URL, okay, see here this URL, this all thing, it's same, right? It's same. But if you check this, everything is same except this value. You see, so very small value, right? So as I said, dynamic values, they can sometimes they can be very small also. So it's in URL, right, and very small, and it's changing, right? So it's a dynamic. There without any second thought, it's dynamic. So this is how you can record the same flow 2 times by taking 2 different username and password, and if required, change the user and inputs as well, and then compare both the scripts side by side, request by request. Okay, then you will find perfectly that which value is changing or not changing. Correct. Let us say this which is passing in URL, right? If you check this with over here, see it's totally different, right? This is something else, this is something else. Correct. Same way, let us say over here, you can match, let us say this value only, it is different, right? Perfectly dynamic value. These are user inputs, so that is flow related. Then if you come down, if you see this value, same way, uh, this value, right? Yeah, you see this value, in a few letters are same, but the last letters from here, it's not same. Correct. Same way, this one also few letters, initial few letters seems to be same, but when you compare all by taking all in notepad, like the same example we have just seen, so you will find them, so it will be changing. Even it is not changing sometime, why you will feel some value, remember, will not be changing, like let us say this value. Okay, this value, you see it's same. Okay, it's same, but this is a dynamic value. This is a dynamic value. You'll ask me why it is dynamic value, it's not changing, because sometime on an application, some values are user dependent. Okay, remember what is the meaning of user dependent means. Let us say, suppose you logged in with a username called J2EE, right? J2EE. So there will be some value in the system that you will see, which will be especially for this J2EE. And when you log in with another user, right? Let us take another user, anyone, right? Abhay or anyone. So at that time, you'll see in the same place, another value will be there. So this script I recorded using same user, right? That's why this is same, right? So sometime what happen in the script, some values in the flow, some value will be there, which will be dependent on user. And that's why I have written here that take 2 different username and password, so that if any user dependent values is also there, you will get to know. Okay. So this value, you see, it's a user dependent, since I have used same user to record, right? Because at that time I was not having 2 different user credential, right? So that's why this value is same, but actually it's a dynamic value. If I change it with another user, this will change. Okay. So this is the way to uh, to check that to identify the dynamic values in the script, right? That is the best practice. In the same line, let us say sometime if you do not have two different user details, right? If you do not have two user details, okay, then you can record the same flow, end-to-end flow, two times with same username and password, and by changing the user input, and then compare the both the script side by side, right? So that will also work, that if you do not have two user um, credential, so you can use same credential also, but suggested is to take two different username and password. But this is for beginners, okay? Once you had like after 1 year, 2 years, right? When you have done a scripting for 5, 6, or 7 application, then you will be knowing without there is no need to record two times, okay? Only one time in record, by recording in only one time, you'll get to know that those all values are dynamic, okay? You'll understand, and you'll get to know it. So but this is the best practice, how to identify the values in this. Now as I said, headers, okay? So header, right? Header is very important thing, correct? Because sometimes value can be there in header manager, and it is compulsorily we should check the headers for each request to find some values which may be dynamic. Why? Because headers will be hidden, right? As I said, and easily you cannot see the headers, right? The request you can see, the request URL you can see, but since headers are hidden, sometime your mind or your thought will not go that maybe in header some value will be there, right? So always remember that, expand the headers also and check that any dynamic value or not, correct? So header is important thing. Now some tips on this, okay? Some tips. Sometime we have to take a third party help of third party tool as well. So when that is needed, so see in load runner, okay, which is very highly featured tool, right? Performance testing tool. To compare the values and data, we have inbuilt functionality called WinDiff, okay? But in JMeter we do not have such functionality, so we have to use some third party tool to compare the values and data, like some code compare software, example beyond compare, it's the best. Or some online tools are there like www.def-checker or text compare. So using this we have to compare some values to know that uh, whether any dynamic values, any changing values are there or not. So this you will need when the data is very big, okay? So for an example, first let me open this website. You can open that through Google as well. Def-checker, okay? Text compare online software. Fine. So you have to copy the text from one recording and another from here from another recording, and then click the find difference. So when it will be needed, right? So that example I'll show you. See, sometime as we have seen, the dynamic value will be small, and through our normal eyes, through our normal naked eyes, you can recognize that hey, these all are dynamic value because they will be small, right? Okay, let us say this same for this page only. uh, this is the script, right? For that application whose video we have seen yesterday. So let us say this request, okay, this request. So let us say this value, it's changing. So we can see, okay, by looking only, by comparing through our naked eyes in normal view only, we can decide it's changing, or this one, or this one changing, right? Same way, this all value, this value, or this value, they by normally looking only we can decide, or sometime with the help of notepad, like here, this value, right? Initially it was looking same, but when we copied So we can compare over here. Yeah, like it was same up to here, but after that it is changing. So that way, sometimes if the values is bigger, by copying them in notepad and then comparing, we can check that that is dynamic value. But sometimes it's very big, content is very big. Okay, so for an example in this script only, you see this request. Means this is the request, this is a part of that request. Okay, so you'll think that this is a small data. No, it's not a small data, it's big, right? If you drag this, you see contents are still there. Okay, so it's actually very big data. To show you, I'll just double click on that and control C, control A, control C, and I'll put that here. See how big that is. Okay, see, sometime this much big data can be there. So now comparing which value is dynamic in this, it will not be easy. Correct, it will not be easy. So that time you have to use this method. You have to record the flow 2 times and then you have to compare using third-party tool, right? So same request when I recorded it second time. So here it's same request. You see, it's same here, right? So same data over here. So let me copy this one as well from the second recording. Control C. Let me put it here, and then I'll click on find. So you see the highlighted here. Okay, so all these are same, not changing. Here this time frame is changing. Okay, apart from that, the below which is highlighted from here to here, it is changing. So these are this sometimes the scripting can be very complex also. Okay, so here three values are there which are changing. So you have to first you have to record 2 times, then you have to use a third party tool to compare, and then you have to understand line by line. So if you see here the digest value, here it is, right? It's the value, it's starting from here, you can see here, and it's ending till here. Yeah, okay. So that is the value which is changing, a small value, a small digest value. This is okay. Then again, this line is same, this all line is same till here, this line is same, right? Up to here this line is same till here, this line is same, right? We see this is same, no change. But again from here, you see this all line, this is signature value, it's whole till it's very big, right? Till here, till here, starting from here, you can see starting from here till all this till here, this whole big value is changing, and has changed, means different. Changing means both are different. Fine. Then again after that, up to this line it's same, this line it's same. Then after that, so that is signature value. Then this is a certificate value, some name they have given, certificate value. So from here, you can see from starting from here, so this is also starting from here. Initial letters are same. If you see, initial letters are same, but everything is not same. Few initial letters are same, but here in middle somewhere the things has been changed. Okay, so this value is very big. Starting from here, you can see here, starting from here, it is ending till here, till here. So this much big value it is. And starting few value are same, it doesn't mean whole value is same. If you compare in middle over somewhere, you'll see this value is changing. Okay, this is different, this is different. So sometimes this will be approach to compare, right? Sometimes this can be the complexity, right? so much big value can pass in the script. Okay, so that is the only way. You have to record 2 times, because this value we cannot even if you have experience, I cannot identify easily. Even I have experience, so I have to record the script 2 times. There is no other way, and then compare these values using using a online software, right, like this, to compare and then get the things highlighted, right, which is changing. Okay, so some online tools are there, or some code compare softwares are also there, like Beyond Compare. Through that also we can do. Fine. Only thing, just we have to paste the content from one recording and the content from another recording in another, and just highlight, just highlight, because they are so big. Using our normal eyes, right, by normally looking over here, can you understand? You cannot understand. It's very complicated data, right? Now next is handling. Fine. So first we have to identify. So we have identified like where the values are there, correct? In our JPEG store also we have identified where these values are there, and we have understood also like where this can be present in the script, how they look. Sometimes they can be very complex, why they come, why we should bother about them, that all we have understood, right? And about the dynamic value, and we are now after understanding, the purpose is to find where those values are there, right, in the script. Wherever that is there, we have to identify them, and once that is identified, so right, that is what you have to identify the dynamic values. Let's identify the dynamic values and do the correlation and parameterization, right? 4.6, correct, step number. So we have identified the dynamic values in our product booking scenario. Now we have to do handling. So handling is what? Correlation and parameterization, right? Remember, the process of handling is correlation and parameter. So correlation, okay, relating or handling the dynamic values in our script that from that of server response, that is called correlation. Or another definition, you can say that extracting the dynamic value from previous response and passing it in the next subsequent request is known as correlation. Correct? Right. So if you remember yesterday I told, right, like this is the value, this is the old value, right? It has been expired. I cannot use this now. So again, when I will be replaying, server will send this value in response of any of the previous requests, right? And that we have to extract from that response. We have to extract, and then those new value we have to pass it over here. So that is what extracting the dynamic value from previous response and passing it in the next subsequent request. So that process is known as correlation. So the value is always present in the previous response, correct? And we have to extract. Now how to extract, right? So there are some extractor elements given in JMeter, which are post processor element actually, right? In post processor, some extractor elements are given. If you right click anywhere and if you go to post processor, some extractor elements are there, like extract this, you see extractor, right? Some extractor elements are there. So few the important one is the regular expression, extractor, boundary extractor, JSON extractor, XPath, and CSS extractor, right? Out of the very much important are these two, a regular expression extractor and JSON extractor. Okay, other are kind of waste. Fine. So regular expression we generally and most importantly used, always prefer this as a first priority. Fine, the regular expression extractor. Boundary extractor is just a simple thing. Fine. Um, we'll see this boundary extractor as well later on. And then next important is JSON extractor. Whenever we are dealing with JSON data or REST API, right? REST API. So at that time, to extract any value, generally JSON extractor is used, and the best extractor, correct? Best extractor. Then we have other extractor also like XPath and CSS. So these are best, as I said, this boundary, this XPath, not that much good, right? To use this XPath extractor and CSS, uh, you need to have the knowledge of writing XPath and CSS, right? This XPath and CSS is a concept of Selenium, correct? Selenium. Okay, so you have to know how to write a efficient XPath or CSS, then only you can use them. And generally you should avoid using them because this extractor consumes high memory and processor consumption, correct? Processing consumption. So basically what we will be using, as you said, the regular expression extractor, correct? And in one case the JSON extractor for REST API. All above extractor have same functionality. Basically they extract a value from response, right, and store it in a variable so that it can be used in subsequent or next request. Okay, for extracting the value from response and storing it in a variable. So for now it will be confusing, do not worry, we'll see the live example. The features of boundary, JSON, XPath and CSS, right? The features of these extractors is has limited, or it is limited, has limitation if compared to regular expression extractor. Means if you compare the feature of this extractor with regular expression extractor, uh, they have less feature compared to regular expression extractor, right? That's why this is always preferred as first priority to use. And generally we'll be using this only. Other this is waste only, and this also you cannot use because you have to know how to write XPath, right? So that is also waste. JSON we use only in case of REST API. So only one left is a regular expression extractor, right? Very simple and very powerful. Fine. Now how to do the correlation? Doing the correlation in JMeter. So first identify the dynamic values one by one and deal with one at a time. Right. First identify the dynamic values in the script and deal with one at a time. So let us say if we start from the beginning. So in home page launch no dynamic value, like that you can check in request, in header you can check there is no such dynamic value. And then enter a store, you can just click on the request, you can click on header. We do not find any dynamic value, right? Okay, same way come to sign in. So in sign in, yeah, we see a dynamic value over here. It is in URL, correct? And in header no such dynamic, here it is there. So we have found one dynamic value, right? So identify the dynamic value one by one and deal with one at a time. So let us say we have found this one. Now we have to deal with this, right? One at a time. First, let us deal with this. We'll not talk about the other dynamic value. First, we'll talk about that one. Correct, this one. So once you have identified, then you have to do what? You have to find its step number 2. You have to find its occurrence in previous response of that request where it is passing in original recording, right? You have to find its occurrence in previous responses of that request where it is passing in original recording. It may be present in response body or in response header. What it meaning of this is that let us say this dynamic value is passing in this request, correct?
Hey, Vallabh, one question. So in LoadRunner, we have generation log, right? In the JMeter, do we have something like generation log where you can search the value and find it?
That recording log, no?
Oh, is that, yeah. LoadRunner is generation log, yes. But here, what
Yeah.
is it called as?
Recording log.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So my voice is clear, or again some noise?
It's clear.
It's clear. It's clear.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So this value is passing in this request, right? So what this line says, First we have to identify the value one by one, and we have to deal one at a time. So let us say I find that value. Now uh, I have to deal with this, right? With that value, I have identified them. So now step number 2, find its occurrence in previous response of that request where it is passing in original recording. Original recording is what? The recording log actually. Right. eh, Say better in original, in recording log. Better to say it in recording log. Okay, so you have to find its occurrence in previous response of that request where it is passing in recording log, in the recording log. It can be, it may be present in response body or in response header. So what is the meaning of this? That let us say this value is passing in this request, okay, in request number 22. So it can be present in response of previous request, right? So before this 22, which are the requests which are previous? So if you see request number 7, before this 22, request number 7 or request number 3, these are its previous request, right? So in response of this request, this value will be present. In response of this request, this value will be present, and that is what you have to find over there in the previous responses of that request, right? And you have to find in response body or in response header. Where you can find that? In the recording log, correct? In the record. So you have to find this value in the response of 7 or in the response of 3. That we have to only look back. Remember, you have to look back, not after, not after. Look back. So if that value is passing over here in 22, it's passing in 22. So you have to look back. So it can be in the response of 7 or it can be in the response of 3. Now, where you look? So you have to look in the original recording or the recording log. Where is that? So you remember when we recorded the flow. So this view result tree, this is a view result tree was there inside this HTTP test script recorder, and here we saved the file, and here that log was there, right? So we have to find in that. Now that is gone, right? Yeah, no worries. That is gone. No worries. We saved, right? You remember we have saved that, correct? While recording only, we saved that with this name. So even though the recording is gone, I can always call it. So I'll go to browse, recording log, open. So all has came, right? And remove, right? Remember to remove this file name from here once after opening. Always remember to remove the file from there. Now, so you have to look back in 22 the value is passing, right? So you have to look, right? Remember in 22 the value is passing. So you have to look back in 7 or in 3. So in response of 3 or in 7, you have to look. Now there also a rule is there, a thumb rule is there. So what is that thumb rule? Remember, first find it in immediate previous response. 70 to 80% chance you'll find that in immediate previous response. Fine. If it is not in immediate previous response, then find in all other previous response. So what is what this thumb rule means? Let us say this value is passing in 22. If you see, so before that, how many requests are there? 3 is there and 7 is there. Which is the immediate one? Which is the immediate previous? Immediate previous is the 7, right? So in the response of 7, so immediate previous is 7. So in the response of 7, 70 to 80% chance is there that you will get this value. That is the thumb rule. Okay. So in immediate previous response, you will find it 70 to 80% chance is there. It will find that. So always look, first you look in immediate previous response. 70 to 80% chance is there that this value will be there in the response of 7. If it is not there in response of 7, then you can look in other, like in 3 or before 3 if any other request is there, you can look into that, or before that any other is there, you can look into that. But first priority you should look in the immediate one, correct? Immediate one. So that is the thumb rule. And one more, so that is the thing. So first you will be finding in immediate. If it is not there, you'll finding the other previous, right? And you should find in response body and response header in both places. So I'll show you one more thing before I show that. If the value is occurring at 2 or more places, remember in previous response, if the value is occurring at 2 or more places in previous response, then consider the immediate previous response only. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? I'll tell that as well. So now we'll understand it practically, right? So let us say it is finding this value is passing in request number 22. I'm referring the request according to their number. Okay, I'm not referring to name because you'll get confused. Number. So in 22 this value is passing, we see it's passing. So what is the rule? We have to look back. Now when you are looking back, 70 to 80% rule says that thumb rule, first thumb rule says that 70 to 80% chance this value which you see here, you will get in the response of 7 because it's immediate. You'll get in that in the immediate previous response. Okay, okay, immediate previous response. So go in 7 and check for this value. Where you will check that? In original log here. So you search for 7. This is 7, right? Click on that. When you click on that, we will get all the details, right? We'll get request body, we'll get request headers. Same way, if you click on response data, you'll get response body and response header. So you have to search in the response of 7. Now you have to search in body or in header. So let me copy this value. It's from here to here. Copy that. Control C. Then come to 7. This is 7, right? This is 7. We are in request tab, and by default we are in response body. So find it here. You see this area, paste the value over there, and then you see this find button, click on that. If that value is present there, it will be highlighted in green. Fine. If you do not find the value over here, then do not worry, check in response header. Check in response header, you can check over here, but it is not there obviously. It is there in body, but that's what I'm saying. First you find in response body. If it is not there, check in header. Two places we have to look, right? Because just now we have seen it can be, right, it can be present in response body or in response header, right? So at two places you have to look into. Fine. So as I said, it's there in header only. Sorry, in body only. So the 70-80% rule, the term rule is true, right? In immediate only I have found that in immediate previous response of 7. So of in immediate in immediate previous response of 22, right? That is 7. So in response of 22 we have found that value. So up to 70 to 80% chance, what I am saying is that first you look into immediate previous response and you'll find the value in immediate previous response body or in header. If, right, let us say, if let us say you are not getting that in immediate previous response, right, then rule number 2, find in all previous response. So how to find in all previous response? So you can go in 3. Yeah, 3 is there. You can again check, search for that value in response body or in response header, like that. Okay, let us say that before before 22, here 7 is there or here 3 is there, right? But if more than this, suppose let me make, suppose launch as 4 requests and then 1 7. So and that value is going over here. So first you look in 7. Let us say you didn't find that over here, right, in responsive set. So you'll go and look. We have to look in other previous response, right? That is the second thumb rule. You have to look in other previous. Now here these are very there are four in number. There are four. Going in one, going let us say going in each, right? Going in each over here and finding them. Let us say. So let me check the change the number just for an example. Like suppose, just for an example, suppose you assume that 3 4 5 6 are there and you find them 3 4 5 6 here, right? So going back and checking in 6 5 4 3 one by one is not feasible, right? So in that case, what you can do, you can use this option in this view result tree, this option. This is called global search. So you can that value and this value, first you have to find in immediate only, right? So as usual, these were the 7 in response body and response header. If you have to find, that is the thumb rule, first thumb rule. If you are not getting that, then you can find in other previous. So if in other previous the requests are more, so going and finding one by one is not feasible, time taking. So you can take help of this search. You can put that value over here and you can click on search. So wherever that value will be there, that will be highlighted. You see, that will be highlighted. But this value you should not look. Why? We have to look back, not after. So here you see these all are highlighted. No, you do not have to focus here. Where you have to focus? This value is passing in 22. Remember, you have to look back, not after. So it's passing in 22. We know that. That's why this is also highlighted. And before 22, it's 7 is highlighted. Right, 7. Means it's present only in 7, it's not present over here, and that is the way we can do. Fine. So that is what you have to find, how to find. Now once you have found that, step number 3, prepare the regular expression extractor, prepare the regular expression to extract it and test it. We have to prepare the regular expression extractor. We have to prepare a uh, yeah, sorry, we have to prepare a regular expression, right, not extractor. We have to prepare a regular expression to extract it, and we have to test it, right? So this value is in 7, right? So let us go to 7 and body, right? We find that it's over here. Now what you have to do is, when you have found that value, maybe in body or in header, you have to copy that value with some left boundary and some right boundary. Left boundary and some right boundary. Now what is this left boundary and right boundary? Okay, so this is the value, right, starting from here to here. Now the content, right, the stuff, this content which is there on the left hand side of this value, it is called left boundary, right? On the left hand side some contents are there, that is called LB, left boundary, LB, right? And the content which are on the right hand side, they are called right boundary, RB, right, right boundary. So copy that value with some content from left side and some content from right hand side. So let us say I'm taking from here till here. Copy that and put that in notepad. Okay. Now what we have to do is, um, we have to, now here, right, so this part is the left hand side till here, and this part is right hand side from here to here. Right boundary, left boundary. I have kept 2 copies of that. I have pasted here and pasted here. Now the value where you see, which is starting from here to here, right, these values, you have to replace that and you have to remove that and replace that with a syntax called braces dot plus and question mark. Okay, so this value which is from here to here, select that and remove that and replace that with dot braces dot plus question mark braces close. Fine, you see, this is what we have to do. And we have to keep the left and right boundary same. Okay, okay, remember we have to keep the left boundary and right boundary same. Same means no change in that, right? There should be no change in that. Fine, I'll talk on this left boundary and right boundary more. So this is prepared. Okay, this is the regular expression that is prepared. So you have to prepare that and then test it. So this is prepared. Now we have to test it. So how to test? First copy this and come here. Uh, this is 7, right? We are in 7. Here it's 7. Now go to this drop down. In this drop down, right? Here in this drop down, correct? From this drop down, choose this regular expression tester. You see, reg express tester. Fine, and then put that expression over here, and then click on test. So once you click on test here test is there. You will see uh, if this has worked well. So you'll see some matches coming over here. This is called match. You see match, and if you see the first match, this is stuff. The first line. This is the whole thing that is present over here, right? The whole stuff. Correct. You check this. You just recognize this little bit. This whole stuff is present over here, and so that is match 1-0. Generally we do not have to focus on this one. Right, we do not have to focus on this one, right? We have to focus on this one, the match 1-1. Whether that value is present or not, that you have to focus. So that particular value is coming, right? You see in match 1-1, that this value which we needed, so it's coming, right? It's coming. Fine, means this expression is working. Okay, so now so once you have tested and it's working, then next step is step number 4. We have to use regular expression extractor to extract that value and store it in a variable. So we'll discuss about this. First, let me talk a little bit on this left boundary and right boundary. Why left boundary and right boundary, right? You'll be asking. I go back. So why left boundary and right boundary? Right? Why we are keeping left boundary and right boundary? Why we are considering? Why we are copying that? And if you see the expression that we have prepared, why the left boundary and right boundary? See, this left boundary and right boundary act as address. What they act as? Address. Why address? Because if you see this content is very big, right? It's starting from here, 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 here. So big, correct? Now where that value is there? That value which the JMeter has to find, where is that value? So you have to give some reference address, right? Suppose there is one friend who wants to visit your home, right? Who wants to visit your home. Now that home is located somewhere in some area. So you will give him address, correct? Address you will give, and you will give some landmark, right? Landmark for easy location, right? We give landmark. Nowadays Google Map is there, but Google Map also we use through landmark only, right? First let us go to that area, then that area, then like that, right? So through reference, so those are called the landmarks act as a reference, right? So suppose uh, their friend was coming and he told that friend that, hey, come to this highway, and then their bus stop will be there, then beside that bus stop one road will go on left hand side, and then one temple will be there, you'll find a temple, and beside that temple one road will be there, you'll find my home over there. So this address you have to tell to him, right? Then only he will come. So this left boundary and this right boundary act as a address for JMeter to find this value, because this is very big, right? You can see this content is very big. How he will know that what is that value? So that is why left boundary and right boundary. First thing, correct. Now there is one rule in keeping the left boundary and right boundary. So first thing we understood, right? Why left boundary, why right boundary? That we understood, correct? Because they act as a address or reference, right? Reference. Now in this also there is a rule. First thing, first rule what? See, the left boundary and the right boundary, it can be small also or it can be big also. There is no hard and fast rule that how much thing, how much will should be the left boundary should be there, how much should be the right boundary. Uh, no, there is no hard and fast rule. Right? Sometimes it can be big also, sometimes it can be very small also. Okay, so I'll show you going forward. I can show you, or let us say, I'll just from this to this only, I'll copy and I'll put it. This all I have removed. Then also I think it should work. It's extracting. You see that value is getting extracted. So you see, there is no hard and fast rule. Sometimes it can be big, sometimes it can be a small, the left boundary. The main thing is that value should be extracted. Whether you keep big or whether you keep a small, the main thing is that the value should be extracted. Okay, the value should be extracted. That is the first thing. Okay, there is no hard and fast rule that whether you keep it big or you keep it a small, right? You see, I've kept it a small here, it's working, or sometime you have to keep it big also. Main thing is that that value should be extracted. Okay, that is the main. Second thing, and very important thing, what is that is, in the left boundary or in the right boundary, there should be no changing data. There should be no changing data. Changing data. Okay. What is the meaning of changing data? Means there should be no dynamic data. Dynamic means changing, right? There should be no dynamic data in the left boundary that you keep and in the right boundary that you keep. Fine. Means this content or this content should be static in nature. Static. Static means constant. They should not be changing. Why so? Because let us say you you told your friend, okay, that hey, there is a highway, then there is a bus stop, then there is a road going like that beside bus stop. You come straight on the road, then here one temple is there. Okay, one temple is there. Fine. Uh, then from that temple there is one road going straight and one road going this way. You come on this way, and then right, you come on this way, and then here the fourth house, right? Fourth house that you see, this is my house, my house. Fine. Now when that fellow was coming, your friend was coming, when he was visiting you, so at that time when he was visiting you, this temple vanished. It vanished. It is not there. When he was coming, this temple is not there. So will he able to find your address? No, right? He will be confused. First he will waste his time to find the temple only. Where is the temple? He will just keep on going like that. and he will not find the temple value because temple is not there. Correct? So can he reach your home? No, never. So like same way. So this is the address. Left boundary and right boundary is the address. Now in this address, if you keep a changing data or a dynamic data which is changing, so next time when you are running, this content will change, right? Or anything, let us say in this content, if this value is changing, so that it's a temple, it changed. So whenever next time when JMeter is trying to find this value, so he is taking this as a reference. Now in this only something has changed. Can he reach to this point? No, never. So that is very um, main thing you should take care that the right boundary, the left boundary, right boundary, you can keep big or small, no matter. But in that there should be no dynamic value or no changing value. Fine. That is the rule you have to remember, or the main point. So you'll ask me, this is means this is not changing, how I'll be sure, right? So that's what, if you record 2 times, you'll get the idea. Like if you record it 2 times, right? The scenario, if you record it 2 times, so obviously you will be having two recording log, right? So you can check that. You can check for that line. So I do not have that. What I'll do, I'll just replay. Wait. Currently we are fixing up to this. So all this we do not have to worry about. So this other transaction I have disabled for now. Okay. Why? You can also disable because currently we are working on till this point only, right? Till this point only. So this I have disabled for now. Let me just run. Okay. So this is that. So where we found that value, we found in 7, right? Enter store, enter store, enter store 7. So here it is enter store. This is the request number 7. I'll go to the response. Let us find that value, that line. This is that line. See, this is present in the original recording log here. You see this line? When I replayed this line, same. So if I copy, let me copy this. I copy whole little bit big. This is the original one. So see, this is stuff. This is stuff. This is not changing, right? You see, this is the left side, the right side. That is what we have taken, the left side and right side. Or even if you keep it as small, also left side and right hand side. It's not changing. This value is changing, and that's why we have to extract this value, because this is the address. This is the main address, which is where we have to reach, where JMeter has to reach. Why JMeter has to reach there? Because JMeter has to extract that. Why JMeter has to extract that? Because new value is coming, new OTP is coming, and we have to extract that new OTP. You cannot say it at OTP, but as example, right? Let us say new dynamic value is coming, fresh dynamic value, right? New dynamic value the server has sent, and we have to extract that. So I have to reach at this location, right, to extract this. So the extraction will be done by this syntax. So that's why this value we replace and use the syntax. But to reach at this point, we have to keep the address constant, right? We have to keep the address constant. So you see the address. So in address there should be no such changing data. Correct? in the left boundary and in the right. Okay. Now what we have to do is, so once you have to prepare the regular expression, how to prepare now a detailed session on left boundary, right boundary and everything. Once it is prepared, test it. We have tested it's working, right? Now use okay. So we have prepared the regular expression extractor and we have tested it, right? So it's working, we have seen, right? Now step number 4, use regular expression extractor to extract that value and store that in a variable. So what we have to do is, where you have found this value, we have found this value in number 7. So here in this area, right here in this area here, right click on number 7, right on this request. Remember, right click on this request, go to add, go to post processor, and here you see regular expression extractor. Add it, regular expression. Where you have to add, inside that request. We have found the value in the response of this request, right? In the response of this request. So inside this request here, inside this request, right? Remember, you see the line is coming and it's branching over here. So you have to right click on this request, right click, go to add, go to post processor and regular expression extract. Click on that, right? So it's added over here. So this is added inside this request, remember, right? You have to add this regular expression extractor. Now, here some inputs are there. We have to fill in those inputs. So in the second input, you put that expression, right? Which expression? This expression that we prepared and which we tested and it is working also. So that expression, copy that and put it over here. So not this one, this one, right? Select it, Control C and put it over here in the second line. Okay, in the second. In the first, here you see the name. Okay, here we have to give a name of a variable. Variable, right? Variable. In programming language, variables are there, you remember. So in programming language, if you have to give a variable, suppose it is variable integer, so you have to give typecasting like int I. If it is character, we have to give char C. If it is string, you have to give string S. If it is double, you have to give double D, right? If it is float, we have to give float F. So this typecasting is needed, right? Int, char, string, double, float, boolean, all this thing is needed, right? But in JMeter or in other performance testing tool, if you are giving a name of a variable, typecasting is not needed. Typecasting means that int or string, that no need to give. We have to just give a name of the variable, any name. So also as a good practice, the name you should give referencing to the value that you are extracting. So let's say this value name was JSession ID, right? If you see JSession ID equal to this. So I'll give this name same like that only. So I'll give C underscore J session ID. Okay. C underscore J session ID. Fine. And I'll give 1 J session ID underscore 1. J session ID underscore 1. This is the name of the variable. Fine. Now in this second here, in the third, you just give $1 like this. What is the meaning of this? We'll talk later on. First, give $1. Okay. Then in match number here, you give that match where that value is coming. So here when we extract it, means when we tested, right? Again, I go and I'll test. So this value is coming at match number 1, right? You see at place number 1, match 1. So that you have to give here 1. So give 1 here, fine. And in default value here, you give variable name, not font. So it should be like this is the variable name I'm copying and pasting over here, and not font, like this. And as a best practice, give this variable name over here as well, in the name of regular expression as well. So copy that and put it over here as well, and underscore JSON ID _1 _ regular expression, and then save. Keep saving. Okay, save. Done. So step number 4 done. Now we have to do step number 5. Parameterize. Parameterize that variable in all those subsequent requests using Control F in one go, wherever that particular dynamic value is passing. It can be passing in it may be passing in body, URL, or headers. Okay, fine. So wherever that parameterize that variable in all those subsequent requests using Control F in one go, wherever that particular dynamic value is passing. It can be passing in body, URL, or headers, right? How to do the parameterization? The parameterization syntax in JMeter is like this: dollar, flower braces, variable name, flower braces, close. Okay, dollar, flower braces, variable name, flower braces, close. So you have to, let us say that value, this is the value which we have to replace, right? So because why we have to deal, because in place of this we have to pass the new value. Server is sending me the new value, and that new value I have to pass it over here, right? So we have to replace this with this variable in this form, in this syntax, in this form. And the replacement you should do using Control F, right, in one go. So how I will be doing, press Control F, right? Control F, press Control F. Now search for, here you say, right? So let us say search for search for. So this is the value, right? So copy this value, put it here. Copy that value and put it here. And then copy this variable and put it in here, in replace by, in parameterized form. So I'm copying this. Parameterized form means how it is: dollar, flower braces, variable name, flower braces, close, and then click on replace all, right? Where we have to click replace all. So once you do that, you can then close that. You see these things will be highlighted. Means these were all the places where that value was present, and now everywhere you see that has been replaced. Here this value was there. Now it has been replaced with that syntax called dollar, flower braces, variable name, flower braces, close. Fine. And to remove this highlight, it will be looking dirty. This yellow, this reset, right? This binocular, you see binocular. No, not binocular. This yellow brush. Okay, this is called reset. Reset. Click on that 1 or 2 times. This highlighting will be gone. Yeah, I'll be doing. Do not worry. Fine. So there are other dynamic values also. We will be doing same. Okay, do not worry. So this is how I'll be this that value will be replaced, right? Now you run. Okay, you run and check. Fine. So before running and checking, you can use one element called debug sampler. So in your script, you can right click and add a sampler called a debug sampler. You can click on simple controller and go to sampler and click on debug sampler, and this debug sampler is added. Now let me run this. So let me clear this and run, save and run. So you can see here that an enter store. Now in that place, this is the new value which server has sent us, right? In the number 7, right? You see here, number 7. Server has sent this value, new value, right? New value. So once the server has sent this new value, correct? This value was extracted using this regular expression extractor, using the syntax we prepared. So that value was extracted and that was stored in this variable, right? And that variable we are using it over here, correct? So now you can see here in the sign in. Remember this value. What is this value? Starting with 13AA6E4, right? So now you see the sign in. If you go to request, do you see that value passing over here? 13AA6C4. So every time, let us say one more time if I run, so again server will send me new value. Go to enter store. See now new value, right? 59AAF6. So now this is extracted using this regular expression extractor and stored in this variable. And this variable we are using it over here. So that value will be passing over here. So if I click this sign, so remember this value, what it is? It's 59AA. Now come here. You see that 59AA. Another means the complete value is passing, right? So this is what the correlation. Passing the new value coming from the extracting the new value from the server response and passing it that in that position. Okay. Okay. And this debug sampler that I have used here, this debug sampler helps in knowing that whether this value was extracted or not. So you can see here that J session ID equal to that value, right? Means that value is successfully getting extracted by uh, this syntax, right? So to know that this debug sampler helps, but this can only tell you whether that value is extracted or not. But whether that value is passing or not, that you have to check in that request, right? So that value is passing, we are passing in this, right? Sign in request number 22. So it's 22, right? So you have to go and check there that whether it is coming on. Same way, if I run for 2 users, so now I'm running it for 2 users. So you'll see 2 users will do home page launch 2 times, though both the users will do enter store 2 times, and both the user will do sign in 2 times. How to know that which user has done what? So if you click on this and then you click on this tab sampler result, you'll see this here. It will be written like 1 1 So this one means the thread group. Okay, we have only one thread group in the script, so this one will be fixed. And this second one that you see on the right hand side, this represent the number. So this is the first user doing home page launch, and if you click here you see 2, means this is the second user doing home page launch. We ran for 2 user, right? You can change the number of user from here, and we'll come back to this in detail later on. So 2 user doing home page launch, same way 2 user doing, both user doing enter store. So this is the second user, this is the first user, and then both user doing sign in. second user and first user. Now if you see, as I told you, right, that if yesterday, that if two people are doing bank transaction, so both will get different OTP, right? And both has to enter their OTP that they have received, correct? So here also, if you see, if you come to the enter store page, both user has received different that dynamic value. See this fellow, who is this fellow? This fellow is second user. He has received 3D49 dynamic value, 3D49. And if you go to sign in, see this is the sign in by second user. So go to request. You see he's passing that 3D49, right? Now, now this enter store. This enter store is by first user. And if you go to the response body, you see this has received B269. Different, right? Different. B269. And he is now this sign in, right? This sign in is done by him. If you go to the request tab, he's passing the his value B269, right? So even it is 100 users or even if it 1000 users, server sends unique dynamic value to all of them, and they all have to pass their own unique value which they have received in their respective location, right? In their respective location, correct? Like OTP, fine. So this is what correlation is, and parameterization. And this we have to do for all the dynamic value. Follow the above step for all other dynamic values in the script. So again, I'll be showing this. Do not worry, but please watch this video to understand, right? So same thing we'll be doing for like these two value tomorrow, right? So this whole process, right, is called correlation and parameterization and handling the dynamic values. So watch it again tomorrow. We'll get clear picture, right? Because today I explain in detailed manner. Tomorrow I'll be little bit fast. So just watch this video one more time. Okay. So that is for today.